Hey, this is Bishop W.J. once again on the Preachers Network, A Talk with the Bishop. Man, I got an exciting young pastor, and I say young, but he been in it for a minute, but he look young. Oh, wow. But we thank God for, amen, Pastor Wallace being with us, amen, and I was able to meet with him at one service, and he was a real cordial and a friendly person, and we just excited to have him on A Talk with the Bishop. God bless you.
Thank you, Bishop. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Man, I'm excited, man. I seen your church, your choir. Man, you going somewhere.
We trying.
Man, I was like, where they come from? So it's just a blessing to get you on our schedule. You're gonna preach for us today. Yeah. But this is the thing. Who is Pastor Wallace?
Man, I'm just a servant. I promise you I am. I'm just a humble servant. I mean, really and truly, I'm just a humble servant. I'm just a small young cat from McAllen.
Okay.
Who has been blessed to be in the presence of people like yourself. God has opened up doors that I could never imagine. And I think these are one of the doors that he's opened up that has blessed me. And I am just grateful and honored to even be in your presence. I've heard about the Preacher Network. I've heard about the things you've done. Just so to be in your presence, this is one of those things, that bucket list check off that I am able to do, and I thank God for you.
Man, that's really gracious, you know. But we doing our thing over here. But this Preachers Network, man, it's gonna be major, you know. And we really want to bless the local pastors. But you know, my minister. Epps got somebody coming in. He's putting them on schedule from Alabama.
Oh, wow.
So, man, we really trying to do some things, create some events, and really, you know, bless the preachers. Because I love preachers. I love preachers. I love good preaching. Yeah. You know, and a lot of times, man, we look back and we say, well, man, you know, we jealous and envious.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't, you know, I may be a little envious, but at the same time, I still celebrate. I ain't going to be malicious with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's an awesome thing. So how long you been at your church?
Well, I have been the pastor there this year for 15 years. We started out, the church is 25 years old.
25 years,
25 years old. I was actually an associate minister for several years under the elder pastor, Kevin Cole. And I remember one day I was coming home from school at Arkansas Baptist, and I got a phone call. He said, "It's your time." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "You know, the Lord told me that it's your time to take over." So for 15 years, I've been blessed to pastor a great church. I believe the best church. I know it sounds redundant, but to pastor one of the best churches this side of heaven. So with that being said, we started out in Lone Oak, and we were there for right about, probably about 23 years.
All right.
So we've been up here roughly about almost 2 years now.
Okay.
So yeah.
So that's great. So basically, to kind of get a little background, you was called to the church. You didn't start it.
No, I didn't.
Okay, great. So tell me the pastor that started the church again.
Pastor Elder Kevin Cole, man, is a great man. Actually, it was like one of those family churches. My wife would always go there. Her cousin, who the former pastor or the founder, is her cousin. And I wouldn't even go to church, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I wouldn't go to church. I would just do like most husbands, sit at home and just wait for my wife to come back home. Yeah. And the Lord had a funny way of doing things because I was a well-known DJ. Okay. So they didn't have a choir.
So what kind of music was you DJing?
Well, you know, I'm just saying I was one of those club DJs, party DJs, or whatever have you. So
you know music?
I do.
Okay, then. All right, go ahead.
So long story short, she was like, well, you know, we want to switch, we want to make it different. So what they did was they said, well, can you just set up your equipment and just do praise and worship? I didn't know any church songs. I didn't know nothing. I didn't know.
They set you up, Doc.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
But the Lord has a way of doing things,
That's
man.
Great.
And, you know, we my wife, okay, well, look at this, look at this song. So I began to play different songs, and it was just something. I'm like, man, it's different. So we had that first service, and people loved it because they were able to hear the songs. And then next thing you know, I started exhorting. Didn't understand what exhortation was. Started exhorting, and the rest is history. Next thing you know, I remember like it was yesterday. I was sitting in church. I got involved in church. It was actually on my mother's birthday. Yeah. And the Lord said, I want you to preach. And I'm looking around like, who? I ain't never read the Bible from cover to cover. I'm not, I didn't know I wasn't the big church goer. And, and I'm like, God, you can't use me because I don't really know that much about the Bible. He says, you just open your mouth, I do the rest. So the long story short, the Lord, I accepted my calling on that day. When I accepted my calling on that day, I preached my first sermon on my daughter's birthday, who was actually at that time 3 years old. Yeah. And that's a whole nother story by itself because we had been involved in an accident that almost took her life, my wife's life, and my life at the same time. Oh, man. So, that's just, it's just, you had time, we'll talk about it one day.
Man, yeah, you sound like you got a story. You might have to write a book.
Bro.
So that sounds good. Man, because when you was talking, we kind of got a kindred spirit because I didn't grow up in church. Right. And I got called to the ministry, early in my early 20s. So, and I really wasn't a church goer. So, I'm like, I don't know church. Right. But I had to learn. But the key thing is you got to be called. Right. If you called, then everything else will work out. Yeah. So, but this is what let's deal with a tough issue. Today, I have a lot of pastor friends, and this network is to edify the pastors and the young preachers. Right. What would you say to a pastor that is struggling, with their membership, struggling with issues? And I know, you just moved from your building, and so just talk to us.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you a couple of things. First of all, when I first started preaching my first sermon, my cousin Craig Collier told me something. He said, listen, remember, they can leave you, but you can never leave them. Okay. That's the first thing. People can walk out on you all day long, but you can't walk out on them. And the same grace that God gives us is the same grace I need to give those who may not have their stuff together. Right. I had to learn that. I had to learn that God rewards faithfulness. Right. We were in a situation to where when we had been at this place for so long, it had holes in the floor, and we didn't have a lot of money in the bank. Right. And the Lord said, it's time for you to leave. Yeah. People didn't want to fix anything, so we wound up leaving there, going to the Lono Community Center. Yeah. Being there for several years, and if you know anything about being at a community center, you just can't leave your stuff there. You got to break it down, put it back up, set up. And I was driving the church van. I was setting up equipment. You
preaching to the choir, man.
Doc, man, when I tell you, so and still had to preach the word. Yeah. So when I tell you that it was
get them.
Go get them. Exactly. Preach to them, take them back home, all of that, exactly. And then, I used to ask preachers because I cut hair. My trade was cutting hair, so I've cut pretty much a lot of preachers. And I used to ask them the same question before I even started pastoring. I said, what is the hardest part about pastoring? Mm-hmm. And they all had the same thing. It's the people. Because you have to deal with several different attitudes. You have to understand that all the church is just a bunch of people trying to get themselves together. Not people that have their things together. So
So let's key in on a piece.
Go ahead.
So, what if they don't have no people? And that's not English, proper English, but...
You mean people like, what do you mean by that? Tell me.
Congregants, if they looking at 5 people, 7 people.
I've been there.
So what do you say to them?
Again, God rewards faithfulness. He wants to see, are you faithful over the few before he makes you rule over? I mean, if you can't be faithful over the few people, how do you expect God to give you many people? Right. So God understands our heart. He understands that sometimes it's just a test of your faith. Okay. It's a test of your faith. If you're going to have to wait to get a big congregation to shout, or to have church, and then you're really not ready to be a pastor. If you can't take a little constructive criticism,
Right.
you might not be ready
Man,
to
a lot
pastor.
of people can't take that. You said something to them, they mad,
Yeah.
and then they want to run off or not come the
Right.
next Sunday because you said something to them.
Right.
But that's good. That's good. That's good. So, what's your sermon preparation?
Man, wow. I tell young preachers this, and I'll say it here on this Preacher Network. God will always give you something to preach about.
Okay.
So with that being said, if people, they ask, Pastor, how do you prepare for your sermon? If you just look around at what's going on, he always gives you something to preach about. And if you pay attention to your own life,
Okay.
then he's going to always give you something to preach about. When I was young in the faith, I told God, I said, God, allow me to go through some things so my preaching won't be in vain.
Right.
You have to watch what you ask for, Doc.
Right.
When I tell you that I went through some
You
things.
didn't ask for that, did you?
I did. And
Oh,
that was foolish.
Lord.
But again, I was young in the faith. I was
Yeah.
young in the faith. I was young in the faith. I didn't want my preaching to be like everybody else's preaching. I didn't
Right.
want it to just be one of those superficial preachers that had never gone through anything. So for me, it's hard for you to tell me something if you've never been through anything.
Right.
So God, He's allowed me to go through something. Then I had to say, God, okay, I've learned my lesson. You have to watch what you ask for.
I
But at the
know.
same time, God will give you grace because He knows when you ask for foolish stuff that you don't really know what you don't really know what you're asking for, so
Yeah.
to speak.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Let's make another transition. So we also know that you're in business.
Mm-hmm.
So how does the church and business kind of work hand in hand? Talk about that.
The church and business. Well, as I stated, I am I never met a part-time pastor.
Okay.
I just met a full-time pastor because regardless of what you're saying, problems don't stop.
Right,
You're going
right.
to always have a situation to where, you can't say, well, I'm working right now. People don't want to hear that. They want to know that regardless if you part-time or full-time, they still, in their minds, they
Right.
still want to be able to reach their pastor.
Right.
So with that being said, it's hard sometimes because the profession I'm in, again, I've been a barber for 30 plus years.
Okay.
So when I don't work, I don't eat.
Right.
You know,
right.
so, but
Then you can be pulled away
can.
from working, and then they don't want to. You don't get compensated for
No,
your time.
not at all.
So
Not
how
at
do you deal with that? Just pray.
Pray, and I got a good support system. I have a good support. My wife, she is truly my rock. Where
That's
I'm
good.
weak at, that's where she's strong at.
That's good.
We've been together for altogether like 33 years.
That's good.
We've been married for 29 years. We have 5 great kids, but they're PKs.
Yeah.
So, you know how that goes.
Right.
But yeah, now I have a great son-in-law
Yeah.
who's in ministry with me. So it's all a blessing. God is making this thing full circle.
Yeah.
So I'm blessed. And I have a great group of people that I pastor that will not let me fail.
That's
They
good.
won't let me fail. They keep their pastor lifted up. And ever since we have been obedient to God from leaving that place of Lone Oak, our membership has more than tripled. We went from bringing 20 members up here to now we have over 150 people.
Oh man, you're doing great.
God be the glory.
God be the glory. That's
Yes.
it. That's good. That's good. That's good. So man, we just thank you for taking our time to come and bless us. With your speaking and then also your insight. Man, it's just a privilege to sit here with you, and we thank God for you. We just looking for great things and great partnerships.
Appreciate that.
With you and your church through the Preachers Network and
Thank you,
everything
sir.
that we're doing.
Thank you.
God bless you.
God bless you.
The Preachers Network Media.com. Tune in. This is Bishop W.J., CEO of the Preachers Network. God bless.